Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gland Bodybuilding. Motion. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about barbell curls. Now, barbell curls seem simple, right? I mean, and a lot of guys that you talk to will tell you there's only one way to do a barbell curl. And a lot of times they'll say just keep the elbows at your side, totally stationary, like you're frozen in stone, or like Han Solo when he gets frozen in carbonite, you know, Empire Strikes Back. You know, you're supposed to be frozen like that and just bend the arms, just like some sort of android of some sort. And then other people, you'll see them do an arm curl and you'll see their elbows come forward a little bit. And then other people, they'll include a little bit of swing in their movement. And then, like I said, other people or more people will just be super strict and super slow in their movements. Now, I've talked about rep speed quite a bit, and I do play around with rep speed here and there. I do some slower reps once in a while, especially if I'm trying to avoid injury or if I feel like an area is not quite warmed up or it feels a little bit tighter than it should, then I will employ a slower repetition. But I do notice that, you know, a bit of a faster tempo has always been better for myself. That might be different for you. But I thought about barbell curls and I thought there's different ways that I do them. I don't always do them the exact same way. So I thought I'd share with you three main ways that I do the barbell curl for good bicep development. Now, I talked about this first way in the video about light weights, and I talk about when lightweight works best and so forth. So this example is going to be an example of that video, right? So sometimes when I'm doing a barbell curl, I'll come up all the way and I'll bring the elbows forward just to get that extra squeeze in the bicep. And when I'm using lightweight, this works great. When I'm using heavyweight, it doesn't. I find it includes too much front delt. But when I'm using lightweight, I get that nice squeeze with the bicep and I get a nice burn. So I'll bring the elbows forward and I'll bring the bar up almost to my chin. Now, this is not the perfect technique for isolating the biceps perfectly, but I do get a different part of the bicep or a little bit more of a contraction from this movement because the bicep does help bring the elbows forward slightly along with the front delts. But when I'm using heavier weight, I will keep the elbows back and I will allow my body to move a bit because I find when I get my body in the right position, I can get more tension on the biceps. It's not like I'm trying to cheat the weight as much as I know that when I'm in one position or another, I'm able to get that mechanical tension on the biceps properly. If I stand totally still like a robot and curl the bar, I find I don't get as much tension. I find I'm fighting, let's just say, the awkwardness of staying perfectly still while I'm counterbalancing with weight. So I allow my body to move naturally as I'm doing this. Now, this is not like cheating where guys will just swing the weight up like this and they lean right back and they swing it up. I'm not doing that. I'm just allowing the body to move freely, which is a better way to establish tension. And I find I get a lot more tension and intensity on the bicep from doing that. So that's the second way that I do the bicep curl. Now, the third way I do the bicep curl is I lean over and I just lean over a bit. Now, I'm showing you in this clip me leaning over a lot. And I find if I lean over too much, I don't necessarily get the bicep as much as I'd like. But if I lean over a little bit, I notice it helps take the front delt out of the movement along with bringing the elbow forward, like I was doing with the first technique. But I get that constant tension on the bicep from curling that way as well. It brings out some of those front delts and just changes some of the dynamics that are going on. It becomes like a barbell concentration curl in a way. And so by using these three different main techniques, I find that depending on how I feel that day, like whatever feels like right to my biceps, because my biceps are in control, I let them run the show, you know what I mean? And then they tell me what is feeling best that day, and that's what I will do for my bicep workout if I'm choosing to use barbell curls. So yeah, those are the three main ways that I do barbell curls. Maybe you guys can experiment and find your own technique because let's just say this, there's also grip width. You can go wider, you can go narrower, and depending on how you're built, you might find that you benefit from a narrower grip or a wider grip. So yeah, feel free to experiment and play around because there's a lot of different ways to do a barbell curl. It's not just the three ways that I talked about, but these are the three ways that I do most of the time. Mountain. So yeah, I hope this helps out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgalantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now. And if you haven't gotten my book yet, don't worry, we're still friends. We're actually more acquaintances. Martin. Oh yeah!